Hello. Alright, so the first question I want to ask is your journey. How have you got into the place that you are, and what have been the things that have defined your journey for you?
What's quite interesting is it's been an unfolding. I've met extraordinary people who, at the age of 5, have kind of got it mapped out, and it's just a case of going with the plan. But mine has been almost what I feel is like a series of revealings that happen when I think that I'm working the plan, and things shift. So when I was about 3, I think it was when I decided that I was going to be a school teacher for the rest of my life. This was a decision that was highly endorsed by my parents, who were school teachers, and my grandparents, who were school teachers. My talent for the job had been established by the family, because when we used to go to the beach, I was the one who used to boss the boys around on the beach and make them fill my hole on the beach with water, so that I had something to swim in, and they would just have to run from the sea with their buckets and keep that going, so that I had a pool to swim in. And because my parents were teachers, they saw that as a very strong teaching, bossing of people around kind of talent, but they hadn't really established that might be a CEO talent. Yeah. Yeah, so I kind of followed with their guidance for a while, and then after teaching for 4 years, I was exhausted. I loved doing what I was doing. I absolutely loved it, but I sort of burnt myself out so badly that I needed to do something different for a year. And instead of studying, which is what I planned to do, I was offered a sales job in a corporate organization. And I remember taking that as a little bit of an insult when it started, because I kind of always associated sales with a sort of nefarious profession where you like used car salesmen and stuff. So even that I wasn't quite sure, but I remember that the guy who offered me the job kind of challenging me about it and saying, come on man, you went to school, then you went to university, which is school, then you went back to school, which is school, now you want to go back to university, which is school, and then you want to go back to school again. If you're going to take a year off, do something completely different, see something different. And I just thought I was going to rise to the challenge. Why the hell not? And it was extraordinary, because it shifted everything. And we now, it put me into a corporate space where there was a revealing of the kind of work that we do now. I had no idea this stuff existed. And so although I really enjoyed the sales piece and I did well at that, I must say what really engaged me was the skilling piece that was available to people in organizations that as a teacher I'd never been exposed to. So it was like, whoa, no ways. And so when I finally stepped out of the corporate organization, because the guy who offered me the job was in fact my ex-husband's boss, so it was kind of last in, first out, I kind of had to go. I decided to start working with people who had been suppliers of ours in the corporate space. And I started learning the tools of this thing about running your own business and running a training business and building a training business over time. And then I think, after getting Avo to the point where it's an established organization with a strong brand and work that we love and stuff that we do, I think I started getting to the point where I was kind of treading water for a while, and then I got exposed to yet another huge piece, which was Nikwazi Field Marketing, a company that a colleague and I started almost on a whim, because an opportunity arose to tender for a really giant thing, which was field marketing across South Africa. And we landed it, which was, we got a hell of a fright. It's like a bulldog who chases a car and actually catches the car, what the hell does it do with it next? So we suddenly had this opportunity to build this giant field marketing company, which, although I haven't been operationally involved in, because my colleague Andre is highly capable of doing that, and my input was being very useful, I suppose, on the training side, because there was a huge training component to it. We had to train 30,000 people in 20 days. But what it did do was it really, really opened our eyes as a sort of corporate training organization to the possibility of being able to take training to every South African, geographically across the country. Suddenly those what looked like remote and inaccessible parts of South Africa weren't as remote. We actually trained people in them and figured out the logistics around it, and it was an extraordinary unveiling, because then it said to us, okay, and I read Prahalad's book The Fortune at the Bottom of the Pyramid at the same time. So this convergence of understanding that there are huge third world challenges that people in the third world have to overcome, and organizations have to figure out how to solve those problems so that they are able to create solutions priced properly and enable people at the bottom of the pyramid in order to do well in the bottom of the pyramid. And suddenly the new idea of footprint was born, and it was hang on, we can find a way of taking life skill training to people all the way across South Africa in a cost-effective way. And so again, that was, it was about building a concept based on a revealing rather than a long-term plan. I'm starting to see my vision of long-term starting to extend beyond the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Now I can see probably 10 years ahead, and I kind of have a feeling that I know what the next decade is going to be about for me. But it is going to be somewhere in building vehicle and an understanding of how you bring skills to people at the bottom of the pyramid, which is then something that I can take to the rest of the world. So build it here and then take it forward. But yeah, it's totally been a series of the right people at the right time with an opportunity that suddenly creates learning and an expansion of vision, which has been an exciting journey.